So, as I mentioned, the way in which I conduct myself is and will be semi-liturgical. So, I will say a few simple words which are always um, around the same thing, but they can vary slightly. I'm not obsessed with the exact wording. The I do worship quite a lot with mantras, so then you have a fixed Sanskrit form, and because Sanskrit is called the purified or the refined as a language, it was a language that was made for the purposes of arcanism. It is something where you want to be um, hyper technical, but with the spirit of the verse. Um, and that's also another thing why this is mostly uh, word of mouth is the bards and the druids in Ireland and the Brahmins of India initially didn't write anything down. They passed everything orally, which is the tradition of the Indo-Europeans, which goes back into time immemorial. For as I say, I think the caste system and the temples were established beforehand, and that the system fell apart at some point, and the Amerindian side went back to shamanism, except in the Mesoamericas, where obviously the caste system was retained, which is a big indication for me that it was before the split between Amerindians and Indo-Europeans, which, yeah, for most goes way too far back into history, because they don't have the evidence to prove, but they don't have the evidence to disprove. On the other hand, anyway, so I will say something like make an invocation. So I won't usually say I invoke, but I will call upon the God of gods, the God of all that is good, something to that effect, and call him by the name Ahura Mazda as well. Whilst as I have my fires lit here, I have vanilla incense I'm burning today. Usually vanilla incense I will burn in honor of the divine feminine, so Ada, our keeper of the flame, Parvati, Ma Parvati, so Kali by another name, uh, which is a Hindu goddess. And but today I've just made this simple calling upon the God of gods, and then I've said Om Nama Ada as I light the flame. Now, Om is a syllable which, according to Hindu reformist movements and Sikhs, represents the God himself. Om is a sacred syllable which is uttered, which is often compared to the sound that the universe first made when it expanded. So it's the creative force and a symbol of the divine in itself, rather than the parts of the divine that are represented by each god. So Om Nama means greetings, or I call upon, so it's an invocation. Greetings, I call upon. I take on the aspect of all of these things can be signified by the word Nama, not Nama. So Om Nama Ada, and Ada is of course the name of our keeper of the hearth, so our equivalent of Agni in the Indian or Atta in the Iranic. So yes, these are the simple parts of the ceremony, and then after that I will go on often to offer mantras to Shiva and Parvati, Shiva and Kali. Parvati has many different forms called the Mahavidyas, and they are different aspects of knowledge, different aspects of her yantra, different yantras pertaining to her as the goddess Parvati in various forms that are unlike Parvati's usual stable, serene self. Some of them are serene types like Tara. Some of them are like Chinnamasta, are gory and beyond comprehension to most Westerners because of the way the sacred has been arranged here. They're things that would be crossing over into the profane for most, even for most arcanists, for most Arianists. But they deal with other aspects of life that are often hidden from us and out of our way that we don't have to deal with. So I don't usually offer to Chinnamasta. I will offer to Tara. I will offer to Kali. I will offer very occasionally to her. Her name is Durga, but the Kali and Parvati are the main forms in Tara. Yeah, and then sometimes to Ganesha, because Ganesha is traditionally called upon at the beginning of all prayers, because it was arranged between Shiva and him, between his father and him, that his prayers would precede all others. So also I offer to Ganesha occasionally. And then there's Kartikeya, who's the other son of the family. He's the god of war, worshipped as Murugan in the south of India. So I offer to a variety of deities, but the god of gods and Arda, keeper of the flame, are who my central liturgy, semi-liturgical thing is fashioned around. And then I also have other gods of our pantheon, and Slaneshi, and various other unnamed gods, Bubblegum Blue, as I call him, and an elvish god, and a crisp, clean arcanist crystal which was speechless. I'll show at one point the layout of Arctica, which was an arcane cathedral where this pantheon came together, and that was something from one of my past lifetimes, where I was a wizard, if you like, an arcanist. So we had various children, and we made them in spirit form first, and we did, because I had the Eastern Hindu background, I meditated in front of the crystals, which a lot of arcanists were appalled by because of the suggestive positions and whatever, because I was stretching into positions that they wouldn't. They would stand upright and speak to the crystals, and often not even speak to the crystals, just think thoughts to them. So anyway, yeah, more on that later. I'll do a whole video and eventually a whole series on Arctica. But yeah, that's a historical home of ours, and then I'll do some on previous past lives. But this vlog will mostly be going forward, my relationship with the flame, my divination, so peering into the flame, seeing what the flame has to say. Cheers, thanks, bye.